Welcome to the Social Work Practicum and Competencies Field Instructor Training Module. This PowerPoint provides an overview of the MacMurray College curriculum and practicum experience and highlights the importance of social work education and competencies and practice behaviors. MacMurray College Social Work Program is guided by our national accreditation through the Council on Social Work Education. Accreditation creates national standards for accredited programs. Accreditation also provides specific professional competencies and practice behaviors for social work students to ensure professional preparedness of social work students. The Educational Policy and Accreditation Standards specifically outlines these needs. MacMurray College Social Work Program utilizes educational policy and accreditation standards to guide the educational process of social work students. These standards can be found in our coursework, through assignments, papers, examinations, projects, and professional portfolios. These standards can also be found within our field practicum experience, through the learning contract, practicum experiences, field seminar class, and field instructor interaction. The Educational Policy and Accreditation Standards outline the parameters for explicit curriculum within our program. This formal structure guides and prepares social work students for generalist practice after graduation. Within the field practicum experience, the Educational Policy and Accreditation Standards outlines that the 10 core competencies and 41 practice behaviors need to be integrated through the field practicum experience. I'd like to review these competencies and practice behaviors to help you as the field instructor better understand the importance of these competencies and practice behaviors and how they can be integrated into the field practicum experience. The first competency is identify as a professional social worker and conduct oneself accordingly. The first practice behavior underneath this competency is to advocate for client access to services of social work. The second is to practice personal reflection and self-correction to assure continual professional development. Also under this competency is the need to attend to professional roles and boundaries, to demonstrate professional demeanor in behavior, appearance, and communication, to engage in career-long learning, and to use supervision and consultation. You as the field instructor can help integrate these practice behaviors through communication and work with the student to ensure that they are working to help clients receive services of your agency, within supervision and consultation to communicate about personal reflection of the student and to help correct them and guide them in the social work professional values and ethics. Help our students to attend to their role as a professional social worker and to work with boundaries with various clients. To excite and entice them to learn the social work profession and to engage in that process throughout their professional career, and to communicate with the student about their behavior, appearance, and communication. Students should be able to apply social work ethical principles to guide professional practice. They must recognize and manage personal values in a way that allow professional values to guide practice. They must be able to make ethical decisions by applying standards of the profession. Students should exemplify tolerance with the ambiguity that is part of ethical conflicts. And students should apply ethical reasoning to arrive at principled decisions. As a field instructor, we hope that you will guide students in identifying personal values and to allow the exemplification of professional values to shine through the use of our code of ethics, and for the student to be able to articulate an understanding and use of critical thinking to arrive at principled decisions involved in these conflicts. The third competency notes that the student should be able to apply critical thinking in order to inform and communicate professional judgments. Students should be able to distinguish, appraise, and integrate multiple sources of knowledge. They should be able to analyze models of assessment, prevention, intervention, and evaluation. And students should be able to demonstrate effective oral and written communication when working with individuals, families, groups, organizations, communities, and colleagues. The field instructor can integrate these practice behaviors into the practicum experience through observing and effectively guiding students through their documentation efforts, through their communication and interactions with the clientele of the agency, through open dialogue about the models of assessment, intervention, and evaluations that are used at the agency setting, and also to discuss the multiple sources of knowledge that the student is pulling from when interacting with clients of the agency. The fourth competency is for the student to be able to engage in diversity and difference in practice. Students should be able to communicate that they recognize that our culture has structures and values that may oppress, marginalize, alienate, or create or enhance privilege and power. Students should be able to gain sufficient self-awareness to eliminate personal bias and values in working with diverse groups. Students must also recognize and communicate their understanding of the importance of difference in shaping people's lives, that people's environment shapes their life experiences and their life expectations. And students should view themselves as learners and engage those whom they work with as informants, asking questions and keeping an open and tolerant attitude. As the field instructor, you can communicate with students and open up dialogue about oppression, diversity, their personal experiences with diversity and oppression, and how they plan to work as professionals to ensure that they are viewing the client as an informant that has dignity and worth as a person. The fifth competency is advance human rights and social and economic justice. Students should be able to articulate that they understand the forms and mechanisms of oppression and discrimination. Students should advocate for human rights and social and economic justice. And students should engage in practices that advance social and economic justice. As a field instructor, you can be sure to integrate this competency into practice through working with the student on an open dialogue about oppression and discrimination, through communicating with the student on various ways that he or she may be able to engage in supporting practices that advance human rights and social justice. This can be things such as looking up information about various policies and laws that are in place that have implication for your agency. These could be having the student look at grant writing and doing research and understanding the population that the agency works with. Or this could simply be the student acting as a social worker within your social service agency that of course addresses social and economic issues. The sixth competency is to engage in research-informed practice and practice-informed research. The student should use practice experience to inform scientific inquiry and use research evidence to inform practice. Students should use their experiences within the field with you as the field instructor to prompt questions of scientific inquiry about the services provided and about the needs of the client. Students should also use research from their core courses to inform the practice that they engage in with clients of your agency. The seventh competency, apply knowledge of human behavior and the social environment. Students should be able to utilize conceptual frameworks to guide the processes of assessment, intervention, and evaluation, and students should critique and apply knowledge to understand the person and the environment. Field instructors can be sure to integrate this competency into the field experience by communicating with the student and having them address the issues at the micro, meso, and macro level, and to ensure that the student is constantly addressing the various needs of a person within their environment. Competency 8 notes that students should be able to engage in policy practice to advance social and economic well-being and to deliver effective social work services. Students should be able to analyze, formulate, and advocate for policies that advance social well-being. And students should be able to collaborate with colleagues and clients for effective policy action. The field instructor can assure that the students integrate competency number 8 through the practices of the agency that advance social well-being of their population. Competency 9 notes that students should be able to respond to contexts that shape practice. Students should be able to continuously discover, appraise, and attend to changing locales, populations, scientific and technological developments, and emerging societal trends. Students should also be able to provide leadership in promoting sustainable changes in delivery and practice to improve the quality of social services. In the ever-changing world of our social work profession, field instructors can assure that students respond to these contexts that shape our practice by addressing the student and opening dialogue about the changing needs of the agency and the community of which the agency addresses. And the field instructor can also promote the student by addressing that they have a need within the agency for the student to take a leadership role in an effort to help them provide services and to improve the quality of those services of the agency. Competency 10 involves 4 aspects: the engagement, assessment, intervention, and evaluation of individuals, families, groups, organizations, and communities. We will address these each one by one. Competency 10A, engagement. Students should prepare for action with individuals, families, groups, organizations, and communities. Students should also be able to use empathy and other personal skills in the rapport building and relationship aspect of interacting with clients. Students must also be able to develop mutually agreed on focus of work and desired outcomes with clients. The field instructor can ensure to integrate that these aspects are all key parts of engagement and communicate with the student on interacting with clients in an effort to assure that the engagement competency is met. Competency 10B is the assessment aspect to social work practice. Students should collect, organize, and interpret client data through assessments, telephone calls, surveys. Students should be able to assess client strengths and also limitations. Students should develop mutually agreed upon intervention goals and objectives with their population. And the students should be able to select appropriate intervention strategies for their client. Competency 10C is intervention. The student should be able to initiate actions to achieve organizational goals. Students must also be able to implement prevention interventions to enhance client capacities. Students should be able to help clients resolve problems. Students should be able to use the skills of negotiation, mediation, and advocacy for clients. And students should exemplify the facilitation of transitions and endings when working with clients. As a field instructor, you can observe students engaging in these behaviors or rely on reports from colleagues after witnessing the student engaging in this practice. The final competency 10D, evaluation. Students should be able to critically analyze, monitor, and evaluate interventions. The field instructor may monitor the student using evaluations, discuss their evaluation process with other colleagues, or open up dialogue about the student's processing with evaluation in the field practicum experience. These competencies and practice behaviors set a standard and guide the curriculum and field experience within the MacMurray College Social Work Program. Field practicum serves as a special kind of learning experience for our students. This opportunity provides students with the access to practice skills and utilize social work practice in the field. The learning contract, practicum experiences, field instructor interaction, and field seminar class all provide an opportunity for these competencies and practice behaviors to be discussed, modified, utilized, and evaluated. Our hopes with you as our field instructor are that these competencies and practice behaviors become part of your regular communications with our student to assure that we are meeting the standards for our future professional social workers. I'd like to thank you for your commitment to helping instill these competencies and for your valuable time as a field instructor. Please feel free to contact me with any questions or comments regarding accreditation and these educational policies. I can be reached at the contact information below. Thank you again so much.